or in vampire. Right, this dreading thing is kind of irritating because it's getting longer and longer, as you can see. So we were reading from the Black Veils again. I know a lot of you don't watch my thing because there's a lot more streaming. That's why I posted on YouTube too. So this is not gonna be a long one because I haven't been doing. I just did my exercises today too, so I'm kind of tired. But we're gonna do some reading about the past of the night and energy work. Energy work means like chakra, like Reiki and meditation and stuff like that, and dreaming and lucid dreaming and stuff like that. So I'm just opening my can for a minute. So, vampire energy work. Energy work for some sensitives requires study, while for others it comes naturally. Energy work can also practice and expand their energetic skills over time and experience. Practices like Qigong, visualization, breath, manipulation, laying on hands, Reiki, Tantra, and I've mentioned all this before. Magic, sorcery, and yoga can help authority effort in awakening. I actually did, with my exercises today, I actually did regular exercises, and then some yoga work to help grow my hair. I'm gonna be doing that after my yoga. Tomorrow I'm doing belly dancing and yoga. Circularities within Stargate V in the Black Veil. Circularities are ways to store excess energy used as a later point. They can turn into a barrier for life force and energy. The style circularity comes from the ancient Greek word stylakatorian, meaning protectant. Different historical definitions can range from Christian, radically from Christians to preserve sacred items or an amulet or charm to store magical powers. I wear an amulet charm all the time, as you see me wearing them all the time. This is my my hat that I'm wearing right now, and sometimes I wear and I always wear my ring. You guys know my ring, my black ring. I would list the link on my YouTube thing for it. You can get it. There's actually a charge, Hella. If you want to go, there's a guided meditation on the one I mentioned before called by Hella, and Hella actually charges your ring for you. It has to be done during the night though, when you're sleeping, when you're in the lucid dreaming state. Different historical definitions can range from the Christian religiously for Christian and to preserve sacred items around an amulet or trying to store magical power. Also, my ring is my clan ring too, so I should just mention that again. This is my clan ring, the Black Widow Spider ring. You can get at RoganWolf.com. I'll put the link there for them like you again. The primary circularity for every vampire is a vessel of their own physical body, which stores a natural life force guaranteed by themselves, as well as the gathered from the other sources. As the vampires can learn to expend the reservoir or excess energy in the vessel through therefore this skill, energy work and training. Each individual circularity has its own potential limits, so the vampire explores other options for multiple possibilities and resources. The goal is an unlimited source collection of refined energy available The individual can use for calibrations and alchemy, magic, and sorcery. Beyond the physical vessel, many different ways to store energy, including art, fetishes, stories, urban legends, thought forms, ergos, and turbas, familiars, crystals, and sacred locations, objects, sigils, halos, black swans, cordoners, talismans, and amulets, household courts, and covens can also use psychotherapy to store their collective energy to make it discreet and protective. Each cellular critique must be consecrated, charged, or imbued with the vampire current, be given the ability to store the excess energy for later use. This is my familiar, by the way. You can get him at Killstone. Well, you could get him at Killstone. This is my familiar right here. His name is Wraith, and he's been with me since forever. You can probably find him on Etsy now. Not on Etsy, but on Amazon. He's really expensive, though. Because he's one of the first creatures that came out. And the most exotic paragon concern, the next step beyond grounding in energy works, often associated with focusing, which involves bringing one's energy into a specific state of relaxation in order to direct it towards a particular goal. The distinction between centering and focusing, and then the centering merely unites one's internal energy. The most common techniques of centering are meditation and breathwork, including forms of yoga, which I just mentioned. To begin centering, the living vampire should be focusing on their solar plexus chakra, which I talked about yesterday, which is right below your chest, in your heart. Bringing their energy into vibrating swirl around it. Generally should be alive and fluid, moving and rotating like the sun. It may also help to visualize a swirling glowing ball of energy centered on their solar plexus chakra. The vampire should focus on the self and not get lost in selflessness. This creates a balance between eternity and the focus of the self. Vampires should then cup their hands in front of their solar plexus if they were holding an energy ball. Then, like pulling taffy or dough, the vampire should pull the energy ball until it folds it inside their body. It should be molded inside the subtle body and the line inside their aura. The vampire may wish to visualize a liquid golden coating pouring over their layers of the self. They should maintain this state as long as they can, ground out distracting energy. Centering may be done while sitting, standing, or reclining. It can be done as preparation for focusing and sealing energy. I do that sometimes. Cycling. As the name suggests, is a circular flow of energy and can be applied with various vampire techniques. There's two basic applications: internal with the subject body and external between the subject body of others. Excuse me. One time the one right there. The cycling technique can also be used for self-healing practices when the vampire wishes to purify or clean the energy they're sending back to the patient. Two or more living vampires may also cycle energy amongst themselves to rise in its frequency, intensity for magical energy, bonding, and ritual purposes nature. This exchange is the most basic technique of vampire communion. Internal cycling is an energy cycle where the vampire circulates the energy with their own subtle body. One example is an exercise known simply as the Zephyr pulse, in which the vampire focuses on their solar plexus and expands their energy out in spirit, expanding and containing it in other reaches of the aura. This makes the energy flow back and forth through the subtle body of the living vampire. One example of cycling between two individuals is a communion technique called chakra kiss. Form of cycling is between two vampires and is often used in sex magic. Here, the vampire joins in a sacred marriage, sexual intercourse for magical purposes, either literally or metaphorically, and they link their chakras. The benefits of these practices are many, and cycling should be applied practice and employed for further than the personal solution is different. Filtering is an energy cleansing technique that controls what energies enter your body, the aura, into the core of the living vampire. Stuff the body, it can be used when feeding as a defensive technique. Most more advanced vampires use filtering as an autopsy shielding because their level of requires them to interact with more energy than communicated by shielding. The vampire must have basic energy work skills and life force. In order to properly filter life force energy. Astrovegas says his negative emotions can be absorbed along with life force. These can become a distraction to determine an experienced vampire if they do not filter properly. The vampire may constantly filter, but this technique works better when they perform constantly. During filtering, vampire chooses which energies benefit them the most and converts blocks to the others. Of course, not all filters will be for this technique. It takes time to develop and master. Filters can also be reversed to project negative charge energy, a word of psychic attacking subtle beings. Filtering is a basic technique used to protect the vampire and their spiritual health. There are more advanced practices such as conserving energy, which may eliminate the need for filtering. However, the vampire should master the practice of filtering before moving to more advanced stage. Grounding. Grounding is when one brings their internal energies under control by releasing stagnant or unwanted energies into the earth or sky. An electrical. It is a metaphorical equivalent of grounding an electrical wire. Grounding is very important, especially when working with large amounts of energy. Most living vampires use the earth as their grounding tool. However, the Danish heavens can also ground energy. Many individuals are natural grounded and skilled with their type of energy manipulation rules. Others have difficult grounding themselves. Of those vampires around are tuned to a specific pulse. Those attuned to a Ramcat less grounded, while those attuned to more rather commonly especially grounded individuals. Due to their intense interaction with energy, those vampires attuned to Kitcha pulse often need grounding. I'm a Kitcha, so I ground a lot. Grounding is essential in preparing for visual practice, healing, and after feeding. One of the most effective vampire techniques for grounding is known as the serpent spear. To perform this technique, visualize a coiled snake at the base of your spine. Then imagine its eyes opening as it begins to uncoil the spine and through the chakras. As the snake fully uncoils, it becomes a long lightning rod that becomes deep into the earth. The top of the rod can release energy like lighting into the heavens, and the lower portion of the rod can release energy into the earth. Being too focused on the ground does not create buoyancy. That is why vampires are also grounded by releasing energy the heavens for balance. One can use mental as symbolic tools for grounding, similar to using a rod, blade, or wand for directing energy. Healing. Living vampires who awaken. Living vampires who are awakened through their natural sensitivity with subtle energy can be adept healers, as in traditions like Taiwa healing, Qigong, and Reiki. Simply by naturally feeding on subtle energies, vampire bikini can remove stagnant energies and facilitate the flow of life force in their donors. There are many more advanced techniques or shows applied vampire killing, with each pulse having some specifics. First and foremost, the health and strength of the mind and spirit of any individual healer are the most powerful tools in healing. Placebos have proven to work well. We all have heard stories of cancer disappearing from a person otherwise known to death. To death. The mind and spirit are tied together and affected the corporal body. Unlike Western medical practice, which focuses solely on the corporal body and aims to destroy the symptoms and not the actual element, vampire healing thinks globally, with balancing the energy within mind, body, and spirit through healing on the level of self. An understanding and mastery of one's subtle body is one level of course really before practicing any form of vampire healing. More skilled the vampire is at cycling, meditation, grounding, breathwork, the geography of the cell of the body, and breathing, the more prepared the practitioner is to develop their skills as a healer. One word of warning: self-do healing is not physical healing. Physical healing should only be done by a licensed and trained medical care professional. Self-healing techniques which focus on the self-development will never replace physical healing, so it is wise and advisable for all vampires to train in first aid and CPR. Not all vampires practice developing healing techniques because they are focused on their own personal effort, pursuits, and enlightenment. In personal evolution, those who focus on such techniques truly are in love with the process of furthering and fulfilling life and being caregivers for those whom they find valuable to their survival. Sealing. Sealing is a technique used to stop absorbed life force from leaking from the vampire cell of the body. Many vampires know how to absorb energy but do not really know how to digest and store it properly. Vampires may lose or leak absorbed life force for many reasons, such as stress, anger, or poor health. Meditation, grounding, and centering are powerful tools to reduce energy and leakage. A calm and centered mind does not waste energy on destructive thought patterns. When the mind is functioning in a healthy and productive manner, the subtle body follows suit. Since the physical body is connected to subtle body, maintaining the health of the physical body will help ensure the health of the subtle body. Energy practice such as chakra work or Reiki may also help maintain the health of the subtle body. Sealing is important for digestion of energies. The vampire's subtle body needs to process their life force just as the corporal body needs to process physical food. For example, on Thanksgiving, many residents of the United States eat large meals and become sleepy because of energy to digest all the food. It's also because of the chemical that turkeys have in them. After feeding the month of November. After eating, one must digest all the food. After eating, one must digest, and after feeding, the vampire must seal. Sealing slows energy leakage and creates a contained pool. After a vampire has sealed, absorbed energy, they can more frequently focus their energy, meditating quietly after being assembled with this energy. When the physical body is calm centered, the subtle body can more efficiently process the absorbed life force. So now we're going on into vampire communing. That is communing with the current. Okay? And I just want to see what time. 2:23. Sorry. Communion is the most sacred of all the basic black veils, states Scotsman. It is often a core element of the red mass, but can be formed separately in many forms. It is the catalyst of Zephyr and the completion of the circuit of vampires and with excess energy from feeding the orthorn vamp practitioner forms communion to amplify energy and deepen the connection between the current. A lesser communion can be done by cycling energy between two or more vampires feeding on each other. A greater communion is done by creating a current by worship, offering the gathered life force energy as a sacrifice to the current. If the offering of the life force is a greater communion and is accepted and worthy, the current and essences will return a gift of higher and more refined forms of energy known as ambrosia. We talked about this yesterday. So, the highly refined energy, I actually offered my life force to the current yesterday, by the way. The highly refined energy directly fuels spiritual Zephyr effects that are later in a vampire's transformation and evolution. Repeated sexual communion will raise the vibration frequency and strength of the vampire's subtle body. As the further vampire increases, so does their physical awareness, subtle sense of awakening and allowing the subtle body to become more stable and restore larger amounts of life force for various uses. Communion has two basic applications, active and passive. Active communion is done in a highly realistic formation, which is the base used for group rituals. It's ideal for those who prefer the ceremonial elements of ritual, with all the bells and whistles. For those new to ritual who need a format to simulate psychodrama, passive communion is more like a meditation or energy work system with little the weight of tools such as answers, wands, altars, and so on. The step of ritual performed in the mind of the vampire is rarely used. It rarely uses any other elements than the actual individual or group. Passive communion is performed within the minimum ritual attire, actions, other rituals, and tools. Ideally, passive communion should require no specific trappings at all. Instead, it is performed by the direct application of will, energy in the subtle body alone. The physical body does not actually need to move. This form of communion requires focus and concentration. Maybe either less distracting or more difficult than formalized ritual, depending on the individual personality level or concentration and skill in energy work. Formalized ritual is a tool to prepare and focus the mind. Many vampires find initially it is necessary to use such tools from red mass, while others do not. And passive communion is not naturally to them. There are many ways to perform passive communion. One example is the lidless communion technique. The celebrant should lie face up on the floor bed in a private, dark, and quiet room. If desired, they may use earplugs to block out sounds and a sleeping mask to cover their eyes. Some celebrants like to listen to soft music with headphones during this form of communion. I like to do that myself. I listen to soft music and do it that way. The legs should be slightly apart, not crossed or overlapping. In yoga, this pose is known as Shavasana or corpse pose. The celebrants should then rub their solar plexus briefly for a short time to prepare their etheric body. They should prepare their mind for ritual by putting away distracting thoughts. Their breathing should be steady and regular. If they wish, with each outward breath, they can mentally banish any distracting thoughts, and then with each inward breath, they draw in peace and calm. When the celebrant is ready, they focus on their intent to reform communion. They make a strong mental statement. They are offering their collective life force. The celebrants should envision themselves speaking this out loud and push their intent outward through the third eye. At the same time, they should begin to release a little life force through the solar plexus. The celebrant then waits for a manifestation of the current. If there is no response, they refocus and repeat the step. When the celebrant feels a response to their stream of intent, they forcefully direct a stream of life force out through their solar plexus and directly upward or in the direction of the portal to the current. They can sense it. In particular, the celebrant continues until they are exhausted or receive a recoiling. I usually find myself really tired after. I usually do it before I go to bed, before I sleep, because I find myself exhausted afterwards because my life force is gone. Common minor examples of signals include a perking sensation in the solar plexus, like a guitar string being touched by prey, feeling of being touched on the skin, or pressure on the limbs or various parts of the side, tingling in the fingertips, ringing in the ears, hearing whispers in the sanctum, strange sense aromas, intense emotions, and feeling bliss or joy. Major examples of signs include winds of strong breeze in the sanctum, shadow figures dancing in the sanctum, on the ceiling or in the mirror, not being able to speak or chanting in tongues, spontaneous organism or sexual arousals amongst the celebrants, particularly amongst female participants, sparks of light or afternoons in sacred space, faces in the mirror looking back, strong thoughts entering the celebrant's mind. The surface is a spectrum taking on a wider appearance or the lights above and fireflies. Primal response among the celebrants such as howling, growling, or acting like animals. The sensations of vibration flowing all over the celebrant's bodies. This is the most common major sign of manifest. Rarely, but most commonly, the actual physical manifestation of answers in the sanctum. Recoiling. The recoiling is the center goal of the emphasis, the entire work in the communion hymn. Begins usually as a sign of having manifested it. This is a flow of ambrosia through the current into the vampires. Recoiling might only happen if the offering was not appropriate or sincere. However, a recoiling may occur even without tangible signs, especially if spontaneous recoiling detailed elsewhere. Often it takes hours or days for the results of recoiling to occur, so results are not always immediately obvious. A proper and full recoiling results in the rebirth of vitalizing energy and sharpening of the sense as if the light vampire died and was reborn. Minor recoiling are small flows of energy that are subtle in nature, leaving the mind questioning success. Recoiling not affect every celebrant the same with participants getting less or more depending on their offering's sincerity. During their coiling, the vampire will experience signs which some of the say are similar in the experience of having Reiki done upon the body. Communion should be done often. The more transfusion of the embryonic current to the cerebral body, the more severe will be increased. The individual psychic sense more may possibly be enhanced, and the more they will be able to feed in the future. Many feel frustration at first with no signs and no obvious communion. However, sincerity and effort will pay off in the long run, as one may have mind blockages that need to be freed. Hi. Offerings. In offerings, the celebrants give their collected life force to the vampire current. After the pulse, the ancestors are invited to join the celebrants in the sanctum. The celebrants should focus all their offerings of energy into the black mirror, utilizing it as a portal between worlds. This is followed by an intense and release of energy into the speculum. The celebrants should direct their energy into speculum on a steady stream of breath. The celebrants reflect the rectal muscles, engaging the root chakra and vocalizing a lung sound such as hissing like a serpentine creature. Placement of the speculum varies according to the taste of the celebrants. In group rituals, the speculum should be placed so that it is visible to all participants. During sterility ritual 1, you hold the mirror in their hands or bring it right up to their face. Another technique is to place the mirror on the floor like a glass bottom boat, looking in another world. Celebrants should make their offerings as intense and deep as possible. The greater leads of life with the higher the possibility of a stronger calling. Many celebrants make their such intense offerings that they collapse from exhaustion. However, the celebrants should never continue offering more than their corporeal safety. Each celebrant must be mindful of their own corporeal health and not put themselves at physical risk. And so, what did I do? Sorry, speculum brings according to the taste of the sun. Group ritual for a certain member of a scientific should also be silent. We're ready to step in should they need assist. Okay. That was the current, and we're talking about the current. That was communion. Now we're going on to chapter 5, gathering of energy. This is how you gather energy if you're a vampire. If you want to practice it. The very act of gathering the energy is exactly feeding off of the really refined and radiated life force from the human subtle body. The foundation of the Blackfield vampire and Serogi V pride themselves on ethical and mutual and beneficial feeding between themselves and the vampire and their donors. Vampiric ethical feeding, the gathering of life force, occurs when the vampire draws upon the vital force radiated from the subtle layers of the human body. The energy, also known as Qi in Chinese medicine, Qi in Japanese martial arts, and Prana in Hindu medicine. Life force is a subtle frequency range generated by the human body. The core part of thing is to feel a hunger for extra life force that is not generated by the individual vampire. This gathered life force is used to replenish and fulfill the vampire higher need of energy and can be used to reinforce the vampire's subtle body, aid in astral projection, enhance difference is an exchange in communion with the disembodied ancestors. Important note: the basic defeating techniques presented are not dependent on the drinking of physical blood, which is known as sanguine feeding. This is a very generistic act compared to more pure energy techniques. Moreover, living vampires should not feed deeply without consent. Okay, guys, do not drink blood, and do not take energy from a friend or some person or your lover without their consent. These techniques can be used by those who have the potential to become living vampires in order to train their energy sensing and manipulation, thus starting the further awakening and feeding of the initiate thirst for life. That awakened and unawakened vampires pose its ethical and behind radiate energy in the sporting events or cancer. Surface outside the person with a coordination from the body. Every living being exchanges energy with others. Thus, anyone can potentially practice very basic and conscious energy feeding. What makes the vampire different from a physical vampire? Psychic vampires, the purpose and intent of their actions and need for energy. For example, psychic vampires feed in order to balance their mental, spiritual, and physical well-being. Feeding ethics. Vampire feeding techniques are defined here, are done ethically and properly, with absolutely no harm intended to the donor. The vampire should limit themselves to first surface feeding by not feeding directly into its chakras or lower core person. They do not have the consent of the donor. There are advanced feeding techniques that can be used with less restriction, but there are secrets which should only be practiced by more advanced practitioners of living vampires. When done properly, vampire energy feed can be healthy for the donor. Ethical feeding can be very grounding and remove stagnant energy needs for the donor. It can also be essentially palatable. Vampires within the Black Veil's philosophy should never physically or mentally harm the donor. Untrained vampires should avoid feeding from someone in poor health and feeding deeply from children or the elderly. In addition, it is not wise or respectful for vampires to feed from each other or other awakened beings without consent. Feeding on the radiant life force of others is not unethical any more than holding hand or hugging from worth or clothing. Black Veil vampires feed for the purpose of survival and evolution and do not intend to harm or exploit their donors. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. My voice is going away. I hope you enjoyed this reading so far, but we're going to continue tomorrow. And for my YouTubers, if you haven't seen it yet, you can check out my YouTube. It'll be there for you. I'm just going to rest now, and I'll see you tomorrow.